Welcome back to Mystery Theories. I hope you brought your hiking shoes because today's case takes us to a quiet hillside in Brazil, where two men were found dead, wearing suits, raincoats, and lead masks. No injuries, no cause of death, and no clear reason why they were there. This is the story of the lead masks case.
Isn't that like the Coke capital of the world? Everybody's always happy and sitting the fuck back. That's Colombia. Never mind.
On the morning of August 17th, 1966, two electronics technicians, Manoel, Pereira, oh boy. See, right off the bat, I have to say, I'm gonna butcher like everything. Yo soy stupido gringo. Lo siento. On the morning of August 17th, 1966, two electronics technicians, Manoel Pereira de Cruz and Miguel José Viana, left their hometown of They told their families they were traveling into Sao Paulo to purchase a car and electronics components, and brought with them a significant sum of money, reportedly close to 3 million cruzeiros.
What is that, like $5 in American?
Yeah, I actually don't even know how much that. Let me figure out. Let me ask ChatGPT how much is 3 million cruzeiros, equivalent to $13,000 in today's money. That's enough. I mean, that's enough for a decent used car.
I think 13,000 though. That's being a millionaire back in the 60s.
Yeah, so that's as much as I paid for my Ford Focus. But I'll tell you, I didn't pay that in cash. I stretched that out over 8 agonizing years. Instead of heading to Sao Paulo, the two men traveled south to Niterói, arriving at approximately 2:30 p.m. Over the next few hours, they were seen making several stops. They visited an electronics shop without buying anything, purchased 2 waterproof raincoats, and ordered a bottle of mineral water from a local bar. A waitress there later described Miguel as appearing anxious and frequently checking his watch.
Yo, it sounds like they bought the supplies for a Diddy party.
They were going to a white party? Dude, the amount of baby oil I caught with that guy. I mean, this isn't an episode on P. Diddy, but the amount of baby oil he had, it made me think, like, am I fucking wrong? I've never once used baby oil.
All I thought was he was using it for a slip and slide or something.
That same evening, around 5 p.m., a local boy noticed two men sitting on Morro de Ventum, wearing their raincoats and looking out over the area. He found their formal attire unusual, but he didn't approach them. When he passed by again the next day, he saw them in the same spot, now lying down, and assumed they were resting. It wasn't until his third visit on August 20th that he was struck by a strong odor and realized something was wrong. I mean, if you went on a hike and you saw two people sitting on a park bench and then you went back the next day and then that same place, but now they're lying on the ground, you wouldn't be like, I might need to notify the authorities.
Yeah, maybe somebody's catching a nap, a dirt nap.
And I don't want to cast any aspersions, but two grown men in the park, I mean, nothing good has ever come from that. Due to the difficult terrain, it took law enforcement and firefighters until the following day to reach the bodies. Which already, that seems crazy to me, because this little kid walked by that area 3 times. They found the men lying side by side, partially obscured by grass and brush. Both wore formal suits, their recently purchased raincoats, and homemade lead masks, shaped to cover their eyes. There were no signs of physical trauma or a struggle.
It looks like they were just gently laid down in that spot, you know?
Yeah, does any of this feel like staged to you? I mean, it feels unnatural, right?
It does feel a little unnatural.
Scattered nearby were a notebook, an empty water bottle, and a packet containing 2 towels. Inside the notebook was a note written in Portuguese that read, Sunday, 1 capsule after lunch. Wednesday, 1 capsule at bedtime. 16:30, be at the arranged place. 18:30, take capsules. After feeling the effects, protect half the face with lead masks. Their bodies were eventually taken for autopsy, but decomposition had set in by the time examination began. Due to the delay, toxicology analysis was inconclusive, and no cause of death could be established. I guess their bodies were too fucked up, which doesn't seem like, I've never heard that before. I mean, they could have only been there for 3 days. Yeah. The coroner's like, what do you want me to ask him how he died? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
What am I, a fucking magician?
Yeah, I mean, pull the Ouija board out, figure this shit out. Come on.
Hey, good news, guys. He died from death. Can I go home now? I'm an hourly employee. Hey, we have a merch store. Technically, we have one item on there. It's a t-shirt. Let me go get the shirts. Guys, listen, I really fucked up here, okay? I fucked up big time. I should have done made to order. I ordered 500 of these goddamn t-shirts, and I am up to my fucking eyeballs in these things. And I need to see a fucking cent on these, okay? Now these are high quality screen prints, okay? Am I coming through on the mic? These are high quality screen prints. CJ, you gotta CJ, fucking, you gotta hype up these shirts, buddy.
Can I tell you something? It actually is a very, and I'm not saying it because it's our shirt. It is an actual comfortable shirt. I wear mine. I wear mine around my house, and I wear it out, and people look at me and they're like,
please buy our shirts. I don't know how much they cost. I'll put it on the screen. But I'm not going to pretend like I'm making I'm not going to pretend like I'm making a ton of money off these things, okay? Check them out, guys. They're really nice.
Please just buy our fucking shirts.
Please, God, please buy these shirts. All right, so I mean, yeah, that's basically the backstory,
that's
right?
It.
So, but I mean, there must be more to the story, CJ. Well, why don't we get down to the mysteries, or why don't we get down to the theories? Theory number 1 is UFO-related event. On the night the men were believed to have died, several witnesses reported seeing a glowing orange object hovering over Morro de Ventum. The object was described as oval-shaped and surrounded by a ring of fire. Earlier that summer, residents of Campos reported a similar blinding aerial light followed by an explosion. The Brazilian military reportedly investigated strange radio transmissions picked up in the area around the same time. Cruz and Viana were said to have experimented with unknown devices prior to their deaths, possibly related to these sightings. Combined with the masks, the cryptic note, and timing instructions, some theorists believe that the men were attempting to make contact with extraterrestrial beings and died during the attempt, intentionally or not. CJ, if you were trying to contact aliens, what would your ritual be?
All I think of is like the scene in Independence Day where they're on top of the fucking building in New York City and they got like E.T. come get me, E.T. finger me, or whatever signs and stuff. So I don't know, maybe a giant sign in the fields. What would your ritual be, West?
Oh, I'd probably like do a bunch of kratom and then like rip my clothes off and run through the forest. I mean, I'm not making contact. If I can't talk to the aliens, I'm at least going to die in the K-hole. Theory number 2, accidental or intentional suicide. Another theory proposes that the men died from a fatal miscalculation involving the capsules they willingly ingested. The note instructed them to do so at a precise time, then await the signal, which suggests some form of structured or purposeful plan. A bottle of mineral water and 2 towels were found nearby, possibly to aid with the process. The scene was orderly, with no signs of trauma or foul play, leading some to believe that this was an intentional act. However, there was no farewell note or a clear motive. Toxicology tests were inconclusive due to decomposition, and a follow-up hair analysis ruled out several common poisons. Without more forensic evidence, it's unclear whether the men intended to die or simply misunderstood the effects of what they took. Yeah, what were the towels for?
The towels, they're cleanup towels, man. They were having a jerk session up in the woods. That's what it was.
This actually is, but this is starting to lean into your original theory, CJ. This may have been like a white party type situation. This might have been a P. Diddy kind of situation here.
They were just up there. They're like, you know, it'd be fun tandem jerking off together. Like, let's go.
What the fuck is tandem jerking off? Like a tandem kayak?
If you don't know what it is, you can't afford it, bud.
Please tell me this is a back-to-back situation. If that was the only way to talk to aliens, how are we doing this?
Do you go back to back? Because then at least you're like, all right, you know what? It's just happening.
Yeah, but then you're just feeling my shoulder. Yeah, every 5 seconds.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
Dude,
I'm gonna take less stride on my right.
yeah, quit. Yeah, can you stop throwing your shoulder into your beat sesh, bro?
Your beat sesh.
All right, I mean, we had to get to dick humor eventually.
Yep, dick humor had to be there. Very funny though. That's the real question though. Back to back or side to side?
I guess these guys chose side to side.
I guess so.
Theory number 3, occult ritual or spiritist experiment. Cruz and Viana were believed to be practitioners of scientific spiritism, a Brazilian movement combining spiritual beliefs with experimental attempts to contact spirits or extraterrestrial entities. Yeah, so these guys were involved in this thing called, and we could probably do an entire episode on this alone, but this fad in Brazil called scientific spiritism. When you think of like the seances, like people holding hands together around a round table with like a glass ball and trying to like conjure and speak to the spirits. It was the American spiritualism movement. And from that derived this Brazilian movement where they also believe it was all about this like idea that you could find different ways to communicate with the spirits. So one of their associates mentioned that they were like super into this. They found this book at Viana's place. It says A Vida no Planeta Marte, which means it basically means like it's a book about like talking to spirits on Mars. So basically the theory here is that they think that they were trying to like talk to like ghosts on Mars.
I saw that movie. Fucking Ice Cube's gonna be contacting them.
What are you talking about?
Haven't you seen Ghost of Mars?
I thought you were talking about Leprechaun in the Hood.
Also a good one, but no.
I'm trying to talk to that little guy. All right, so this is where things get interesting. Notably, a similar incident occurred in 1962 when a man named Hermes, who was also a TV technician, was found dead on Morro de Cruzeiro with a lead mask beside him. Though poorly documented, the parallels suggest a pattern of ritual behavior among a niche group of believers. One of the things about this spiritism, this Brazilian form of spiritism, is that it was like incredibly popular, specifically with TV technicians. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on there. If they thought that maybe TVs were like, maybe that was like some way to like talk to the dead. And one of the notes they had was like frequencies and like electronic equations.
Oh.
So there's like some connection there.
Dude, they could have, maybe they were seeing shit in the TVs. There's people in different cultures that believe like that you can be seen with like spiritual energy like that.
I bet, Ringu, I bet there's some connection in Japanese culture between like spirits and the television. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there's something there where there's some belief that there's spirits connected through the TV set.
Well, there's the movie Pulse that is also a Japanese movie. That's like about like people that die violently and like their spirits are like, they like see them in like TVs, see them in technology. And it turns out that in the technology, they're trying to warn us. So dude, that could be a thing. Maybe they turned on the wrong channel.
they turned in the wrong episode of Barney and started getting some crazy ideas.
I was going to say Barney. That's fucking weird.
Theory 4, murder. Jose's confession. In 1969, 3 years after the case went cold, an inmate named Jose Bizarni confessed to orchestrating the men's deaths. He claimed he and several accomplices posed as helpful strangers, led Cruz and Viana to Morro de Ventim, forced them to ingest poison, and stole their money. The story on its surface offered a logical motive and a clear perpetrator. However, Bizarni's confession quickly unraveled under scrutiny. Witnesses had only ever seen the men alone when they were on the hill, and the physical evidence didn't match this account. Significant cash was still found on the bodies, and no signs of struggle were present. Lead masks, cryptic notes, and raincoats were also left unexplained. Today, most consider this confession unreliable, possibly an attempt at notoriety or misdirection.
And the thing is, this Bizarni guy, it's not like he had a prior with either of them either. It'd be different if he had some sort of prior with them, and like you would know like that. But to be like, I just so happened circumstantially, I met these two guys and I was trying to be a helpful stranger.
It kind of just seems like he's clout chasing.
Yeah, that definitely feels it.
And that's how I feel about Luigi Maggione. I don't think he did it. I think he's just clout chasing.
Well, here it comes. It's going full circle. He's also in the same prison or jail or wherever it is that P. Diddy's in. So
why the fuck would he be in the same? I heard he's in the same prison cell as P. Diddy.
No, he isn't.
I swear to God, that's what I heard. Let's ask Shodan.
Shodan.
Luigi Maggione are both incarcerated at Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. However, they are not sharing the same jail cell or unit.
Yeah.
That would make more sense. I mean, that would be crazy to put them in the same jail cell.
That would be very crazy.
But I don't know how reliable this is because it brought in a bunch of pictures as sources, and it's pictures of P. Diddy and like Luigi, the character from Nintendo. So I don't know. So it might be a little confused there. We went over the timeline, we went over the facts, and we went over the theories. But which theory do you decide?
So theory number 1, the UFO contact gone wrong. So I don't know. To me, like And that could be. It's crazy that in the same kind of timeline, eyewitnesses saying they saw lights in the sky, things like that. That's very coincidental that it happened around the same time. The theory number 2 of accidental or intentional suicide. I don't know. I don't feel like it was a suicidal thing, because if they were, there would be more of like a note of why they were doing it. Like usually suicide comes with like some sort of baggage that's with it, and this doesn't seem like it is. Theory number 3, Spiritist, ritual experiments. Like, to me, like this is something that you could really start to grasp in. Maybe it does have something to do with them being with TV repairmen. Maybe they were seeing some fucking crazy shit, and they were trying to contact the beyond, and they took a little too much of the medicine. Theory 4, murder and a cover story. To me, I feel like this is a red herring, right? Like the guy just wanted notoriety and shit.
So you like theory 3?
I like theory 3. I like theory 3 and Ghost of Mars. Great movie.
To me, it seems clear that these guys were intending to do something. What exactly that is, maybe is a mystery. Like if it was more spiritual or scientific, otherworldly, paranormal, like what they were trying to accomplish exactly, I think will probably mostly remain a mystery. I think a better toxicology report could have probably solved this mystery, but just the complete ineptitude around the toxicology report and the autopsy, I think is kind of what's condemned this case to being a mystery. But I have to imagine it was like an overdose or whatever those capsules were.
Yeah, just took too much. What's this one last thing?
Oh, yeah, so we have one last thing. Well, CJ, how do we enter the one last thing? But CJ, there's one last thing. Nailed it. One lingering mystery has never been explained. A blonde man was reportedly seen with Cruz and Viana before their deaths, but he was never identified and no official follow-up was recorded. The detail becomes more significant when considered alongside 2 other unresolved elements. The notebook found with the bodies was allegedly written in someone else's handwriting, and despite the note instructing them to ingest capsules, no capsule packaging or residue was ever found at the scene. Whether this unknown man played a direct role, served as a guide, or was simply a fabrication remains an open question, but his unexplained presence ties together some of the case's most baffling clues.
Dude, it was probably the 3rd guy that was supposed to be jerking with him, and he got cold feet.
They were gonna do the triumvirate.
Yeah, they were gonna crisscross applesauce.
Well, that's how you talk to aliens. I mean, yeah, idiots. That's how you talk to the aliens. You got to get the 3rd guy in there. A triumvirate bro down.
But on a serious note.
Is he a puppet? On a serious note, yeah. Do you have a serious? But on a serious note.